Hey guys, welcome back. It's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
We're going to talk about Lana Del Rey because we're switching our format. We're just going to be a music channel from here on out.
He's kidding.
No, we're going to talk about Lana Del Rey and an article on the MarySue and how this kind of dovetails with critics and critics of critics, if I'm following this correctly.
Okay.
And it's coming from the MarySue, so it's always good for a laugh.
So Rachel Leishman, I don't know how to say your last name, so I'm sorry. It has another article. Now, actually, this article, I 100% agree with her on, and we're talking about it, but then there's a big but here. Okay, so
a big but.
It's not just my butt. So maybe don't call it your critics, Lana Del Rey. Okay, so we're losing the ability to garner actual criticism of work. Sorry, I have to do this without laughing. Because A, we're all overly connected with one another. And B, the artists in question can then call out those who do not see the same merit they do in their own art, or TV shows, or movies, or whatever. The most recent cases come with Lana Del Rey calling out esteemed music critic Ann Powers. Oh, you mean because it's okay because it's a woman who didn't say it, not a man? We'll talk about that in a minute too. But look, here we go. Agree. We're overly connected to one another. We're losing the ability to garner actual criticism. And artists in question then call out people or are upset by people who don't see their vision, okay, or understand their own what they see. Okay, so keep that in mind. Powers, who was doing her job in critiquing Del Rey's new album, Norman effing Rockwell, was met with Del Rey firing back on Twitter, claiming that she couldn't state she was a fan if she didn't like the latest album.
What?
So I completely 100% agree so far with everything they're saying. It's like, you don't have to like the latest album to be a fan, Here's the thing. No, I'm a fan of great many things, and I try to find the joy in them all. But you can and should voice when someone you like produces something you don't connect with, because that's why art is created.
Wait a minute. I'm going to highlight this.
So I 100% completely agree with her.
So this is Rachel Leishman. Dear men, keep your fucking hot takes about Carol Danvers to yourself. Thank you.
Exactly. I was going to go there, but let me finish this article.
Okay.
So I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. We're losing the ability to have real criticism because we're really connected, and people artists think that everybody should see it the way they do. If you don't like something, you don't like one thing, you're clearly not a fan, because fans love everything a spoonful of shit you feed them, because they're fans, so they have to love it. Or they're not a real fan.
A spoonful of shit helps the propaganda go down.
That's right. If you could choke past it. Anyway, so I understand Del Rey's defensiveness of her art. Yeah, I do too. Many artists want their work to be appreciated, but part of putting art into the world is understanding that there are going to be those who do not like it. Yes, true. It's the same with everything in life. Yes, it is. Criticism is part of the game, and going on Twitter and shaming those who are sharing their thoughts on her work. Dear men, keep your effing hot takes about Carol Danvers to yourself. Thank you. What's wild is that when you read the review, it does not talk badly about the album or even Del Rey. It just comments on the fact that this is an album that has a statement and takes a stance on our culture and the influence of Donald Trump. I think as an artist, it's more important to note that Powers praises a lot of the album for its growth of Del Rey, as well as the message within its song. But again, a lot of reviews didn't always talk bad about Captain Marvel, for example. But yet we still had, articles like this one. Captain Marvel's fun, and most of the negative reviews are written by men. Shocking. Also by Rachel.
I think because this is my armchair opinion as a man whose opinion should not count. But my armchair opinion is because this is a female critic calling out a female artist, that somehow that's different. Right.
And I'm a female YouTuber calling out a female writer who wrote a story about a female critic who did a critique on a female singer. So there's boobs the whole way down. Still saying your article is right, but your behavior is not. Anyway.
Break out into a refrain from tits and ass.
Well, I was gonna. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, so they
That's
go.
a good song.
It is a good song. I think it's not. I actually know the words of that song, but
yes, you do.
Anyway, so it goes about part of the problem with the world is it's consistent throughout all mediums, is that we all think our opinion is the only one that matters. Dear men, keep your effing hot takes about Carol Danvers to yourself. Thank you. And rather than recognizing that everyone is entitled to their opinion, dear men, keep your fucking hot takes about Carol Danvers to yourself. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. That's what she said. I'm quoting. everybody's entitled to their opinion, but that doesn't mean you're going to agree. I don't agree with this. Because there was a lot of women who didn't like it either. And what the heck? What about women? What about the women who didn't like it? Anyway, they're allowed to have their opinions, just not men. So basically, if you have a penis, you don't allowed to have opinions.
I'll shut up now.
Okay, that's what you should do. Put your face where it belongs. No, I'm kidding. You're gonna cut that out, I hope.
No, I'm not.
Okay, the same comes with criticism. You don't like it? That's okay. That's your choice. That's why I always say, hey, you know what? You're allowed to like something. You're allowed not to like something. 100%. I agree with this article. I agree with everything she is saying here in this article. But an artist calling out a critic doing their job because they commented on their art in a way that may not line up with their original intention, come on. Well, I'm just a YouTuber calling out a writer who I agree with their article, for this article, for calling out other people. But I'm going to call out some things this writer has done in a minute, which I've already been doing. But anyway, they're going about, there's a difference between fans interacting with a critique of something that the actual artist engaging with it. It's the price we pay as artists. You put your heart into your work and you put it into the world, and people will talk about it as they see fit. Like, you mean like the people who didn't like She-Ra and got told they were, not necessarily Rachel, but they got told they were misogynists, they were homophobes, they were racist, they were every kind of ist under the sun. They hate, those Star Wars, they hate strong women because, they're Star Wars.
They're trolls.
Yes, trolls. And then, wait, here, I got one too. I mean, they hate it because, surprise, what's the wrong one? Hold on, sorry, this one. Men clearly fear women leading nerd films, and good. Okay, so you put it into the world and people will talk about it as they see fit because they're allowed to have their opinions.
Nope.
So anyway, this goes on about, her songs and about the album. But you can read it on you can go to the MarySue and read it. But I just love it because I agree with everything in this article. I agree with what she's saying 100% because this is what I've been saying the entire time. I agree with you. But she is making this article saying, she did the same with the Game of Thrones that we agreed with.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. I'm not allowed to, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm not going to voice an opinion. I'm not allowed to. Cause
I allow you.
You give me permission?
Yes, you
give
permission.
Me consent?
I give you my consent to voice your opinion.
Can I get that in writing? Can I get it notarized, please?
Don't even be that would be a smart aleck. Come on.
I thought you were going to say don't be a dick, and I'm like, I can't help it. I am a man.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, so this happens a lot, right? A lot of these journalists get very, very butthurt when people call them out on their...
this is a singer, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in general, you have journalists with their hot takes, right? And then you have YouTubers commenting on journalists and their hot takes.
I know where you're going with this.
And apparently...
People get mad and go on Twitter and start tweeting at you because they didn't like your take on their article. Write better articles.
I don't know. I guess we hit the beehive with a couple of journalists at some of these pop culture news outlets because we were critiquing their critiques. But their articles were usually...
bad?
They're usually something along the lines of... This group of people is bad because I say so.
And this will get a lot of clicks. I'm going to make it clickbaity, and then I'm going to put it out there, and,
Right. So, again, it's sort of like you're saying that critics have a right to criticize as they see fit.
And fans have a right to say what they want to say. You said that. She said that here, too.
Right. But then you go out on Twitter and you cry when people give you pushback. A lot of these journalists, I think what it is, I really think the mindset, at least with the journalists, and I agree artists are overly sensitive now too, but I think with the journalists now that they think that they are at the top of the food chain. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that journalists now, and it has not been that way very long, it's only been in recent years because the media was locked down. Like if you were the media, you were the authority, you were the voice, you were the final say. Mm-hmm. And now you have people... taking a piss on journalism and saying, no, the journalists are not above criticism either. So let's riff on these guys too. And they don't like it. They thought that as long as they were the seniors in high school, that they could bully everybody else and you would just fall in line. But now here comes the college kids and they're like, Nah, you're right.
Or it doesn't even have to be college kids. Here just comes people that, it doesn't matter. They may be even freshmen. But they're just saying, hey, I don't have to sit and talk. I don't have to take what you feed me because you said, because journalism now is, quite frankly, in quotes, journalism. I mean, it is not the same thing as it was 20 years ago, you know?
And everybody thinks they're Dan Rather and they're just Tumblr bloggers.
But in this case, I agree with everything she's saying in this article. I agreed with her article about Game of Thrones. But I just think it's hilarious. What's funny to me, in a haha, ironic funny, not funny, ironic funny, not more like haha, this is hilarious, but it is funny, is the idea that fans are allowed to have their opinions. People are allowed to criticize. It is okay. Artists need to understand that and basically, go with thicker skin, that just because you don't like something from some, don't like a certain episode or song doesn't mean you're no longer a fan. But they forget this when they write things like, Captain Marvel's fun and most of the negative reviews are written by men. Shocking. You just got done saying that critics were allowed to say what they were going to say.
Hey, I'm going to maintain that I think, given the tone of the articles, I think a female critic is allowed to voice an opinion, a male critic is not.
I'm a female. I was critical of Captain Marvel. I was critical of She-Ra, but I was also fair on both of them too. I was critical of She-Ra. I've been critical of Star Wars. I'm ignored. I am told I have internalized misogyny. And I am told, no matter, every article it's the men. They refuse to acknowledge the women, and there's a lot of us who don't like these things either. We are never acknowledged. We are marginalized by the people who are claiming they're marginalized.
It's because you're just a bot.
That's right. So I'm just saying, that this is ridiculous.
So even the women working at these pop culture outlets are ignoring women's opinions.
Right.
Because it's always the go-to is the men hate it. The men hate it. Oh, not surprisingly, men hate this, men hate that, misogyny, whatever. Meanwhile, and especially in the case with She-Ra, there were a lot of female fans of the original that did not like the shenanigans that went on with that show. Not even the show itself so much.
Just the way the media spun it.
But the way the media dealt with it, yeah.
Yeah, and called everybody names for misogynist and all that for liking it. And, so it's hilarious to me because women are only, it's only certain women are allowed to say things. And that's it, apparently. But then they had this one too. Black Widow screenwriter isn't letting trolls stop her process. It's not about being trolls. It's about the fact that she's Black Widow. And there's not going to be any guns because she doesn't like guns. And it's Black freaking Widow. I'm
yeah.
So in the prequel she doesn't use guns, but in the new movie she does? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
So she's Black Widow and it's trolls. I'm not letting the trolls stop her process.
So basically, whether or not you're a critic or a troll, I guess it just depends on where you are in the totem pole.
But wait, I was gonna read this real quick though to go back to the troll thing. Okay, wait, I gotta show you this. She won't let trolls stop her process. But then, I'm a fan of a great many things, and I try to find the joy in them all. But you can and should voice when someone you like produces something you don't connect with, because that's why art is created. But then you're a troll if you say you don't like something.
Yeah.
I guess the point of this is I totally 100% agree with everything she said in this article.
Just don't be a hypocrite.
I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Don't be a hypocrite.
And you know what? This one here, men fear women leading. I can't, okay, because women have never led films until now. Like Aliens doesn't exist, and Princess Leia, Star Wars universe didn't exist. We didn't have Terminator, the Terminator movies. You didn't have Sarah Connor and all those things. Because. And Wonder Woman didn't actually do well. It was all it was a misunderstanding. It really bombed.
Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz.
Oh my God!
The original strong female lead.
There you go. But men, it's only because men.
She killed a witch without guns. She dropped a house on her.
Right. But you're right. That's actually a point. But I'm just saying, this whole idea that men don't like. No. You know what? What I'm getting sick and tired is they're just taking these characters and they're doing what they're doing to these characters all the time, and they're just making these random changes and things, and they're making them like Rey, for example, from Star Wars. She's kind of I'm sorry, but she's MarySue and she's not very likable. She was more likable in The Force Awakens than The Last Jedi, that's for sure. And she's not that great of a character. But you're supposed to love her no matter what. Holdo, you don't even know anything about effing Holdo. She's literally in a movie for part of the time. She doesn't probably do jack shit. But you're supposed to universally love her because they say she's a strong character. And I'm like, what? Her just because she's the whatever in charge doesn't make her a strong character. You know what I mean? Just because you put a title on her doesn't mean she's strong.
I think male or female, it's show don't tell. If you have to tell somebody that a character is a strong character, then they're probably not a strong character, because it should show that they're a strong character.
So this whole idea that, you know, men are okay with it is a load of shit. There's a lot of women who don't like these characters as well, but they completely get ignored. It's all blamed on men, no matter what you do. There could be a protest led by women against, like, you know, riot Star Wars, and they still find a way that, because there's one guy was there holding his wife's purse, he was the leader, and it was all men that showed up, and these were just women waiting for their husbands to come out. You know, because it's just men. Or they wouldn't cover it at all, because they wouldn't be able to spin it enough. So I'm just saying, you know, it's like, stop. I mean, yes, everything here, yes. This is this is right. People are allowed to have their opinions. They're allowed to not like something. They are allowed to say they don't like something. They are allowed to offer criticism. True, 100% true. But then that also holds true for dear men. Keep your effing hot takes about Carol Danvers yourself. Thank you. You know, negative reviews can be written by men, and that's fine. I bet yours lots by women too. Screenwriters can be told, hey, I think this is a bad idea. I don't like where you're going with this, by men and women. This is not true. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I don't have anything else to add. I just think it's very hypocritical, and we're starting to see this with these journalists, just how hypocritical they are.
This is the second time I have to call her out on this.
So, okay, I don't know. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm just saying, this article's good. I agree with this article. I recommend, you know, if you want a good article, that this is a good one. The one she did about Game of Thrones was also good, I thought. And I agree with what their points are. But if you're going to go out and say this, you're telling people, you know, maybe you need to learn to take criticism and all this other stuff, then you have to yourself be understanding enough to stop making the headlines you're making and be able to take criticism.
Yeah, so whether or not you're a troll or a critic, it just depends on the
whoever says it.
Whoever says it.
But you're allowed to like what you like. You're allowed to not like what you like. You cannot like an episode or a movie and still be a fan of a franchise. You cannot like a song and still be a fan of the singer. You don't like an album. You know what I mean? It just this whole idea that you have to love everything is a load of shit, which she even admits. You know. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't like this stuff, and they do it in a polite way. They point out things in a nice way, and they're still called trolls, even if they aren't doing anything bad.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Men are problematic.
Well, at least you get acknowledged. People like me don't even get counted.
Invisible women.
So I don't take that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants on Clownfish TV. This has been Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.